I'm Barbara Ginty, and I built my practice my way. My name is Barbara Ginty, and I am the president of Independent Financial Services, and we are based in Kingston, New York. And I have been with LPL as an advisor for just over 6 years. My practice I purchased from my dad and my aunt 6.5 years ago. So I had left Wall Street to do it, so I had no experience in personal finance prior. I had Wall Street experience. I graduated from college, and it was in Kingston is a small town, very cool town, but a small town in upstate, and I really only wanted to live in the city, so I went to work on Wall Street. It was my sister's idea. My dad and my aunt had a buyer, and I remember exactly where I was. She called me, and I was right outside. I was almost home. I was right outside my apartment. I had just gotten off the subway, and my sister called and said, you know, Dad and Aunt Judy are selling the business. And I was like, no, it's exciting. Like, I'm really happy for them. She said, well, I really thought that you should buy it. I was like, why would I buy it? Like, I have a job, I'm living in the city, it's a different type of finance. We talked about it for a little bit. By the end of the conversation, I hung up with her and called my dad, and said, I just talked to Erin and she thinks I should buy the business. I've been working on growing the business and I would say modernizing it. So the vision of the business was to, I guess, make it a business that really fit me and not my father and my aunt. So no, I've been changing a lot of things. So the practice is very different today versus where it was 6.5 years ago. They did a great job and it worked really well for them, but I think I'm technically an elder millennial or a senior millennial, and I really wanted a business that fits me and what I'm looking to do, and then also would be attractive to someone else who would be my age. And I had some pretty ambitious goals for not only modernizing it, but also then growth of the business. I'm an independent advisor with LPL, and I'm under the corporate RIA. So that model has allowed me to really grow and transform the business that I purchased 6 years ago. And that model works really well in this moment, but the really exciting thing is that there's multiple models with LPL or affiliations that you can have with LPL, and so I am exploring whether or not this is going to continue to be the affiliation I have, or if I'm going to switch my affiliation as my business continues to expand. So once I bought the practice and I knew that now I was going to be in personal finance, I went through the CFP program, which I thought was really important of learning the fundamentals of financial planning. And so I went through that process and have my CFP so that when you sit with a client, you can go over all the areas of their life and not just the investments, because the rest of it makes a huge difference. And you really want to know everything that's going on in your client's life to prevent future problems. And I really explain that to the clients, that it's good to have me in on all the conversations, and even if you think it's something I might not need to know, I'd rather know, and then it's better to have more information so that I can do the best job for you if I have all of the information. Obviously, we go through the returns, but that's not the focus, right? That's one part of their financial picture is their returns, but then there's also, you know, what are we doing for estate planning and retirement income and insurance, and making sure that you're covering all the bases with the clients. Because you never know when something might change or come up.
Sure.
And you want to make sure that you have the right team in place so that your clients are taken care of, and no matter what happens with their life. I definitely think that LPL has done a great job of giving a variety of tools. So depending on what works for you, you can utilize, you know, from the various options. So for me, what was really important was that I had flexibility to travel, because when I bought the practice, I didn't want to relocate. So that meant that I was going to need to be able to do work from outside the physical office. So the concept of, if I want to call a client, I have to physically go pull a file, because they had, one of the reasons I had switched initially to LPL was there was no central system with the former broker-dealer it was at. So you had to pull the file to get the phone number. So that was the first step, was getting over to LPL, where you could log into a system and see your clients and see the paperwork and see everything. There was a lot of transparency, and that was 6 years ago. But I've been able to utilize a lot of the services that you're offering that allow me to do what I'm good at, which is meeting with the clients and doing holistic planning. I'm a big believer that you have to spend money you have to invest in your business, and I think that the admin solutions is a good investment in your business in order to help grow your business. It gives you back more time, and you can spend time doing what your highest and best value is, which is sitting with clients. All the technology that's coming out is going to allow me to, I think, continue to scale the business. I think that without all the technology, I wouldn't be able to be a single advisor and be able to continue to grow at the rate, because I think you would cap out on what you're able to do. Sure. So I think the technology is going to allow me to continue to grow my business and scale it the way I want to, and also have flexibility with where I live. I think most advisors live in the town that their practice is in, and I'm not. I spend time there, but it gives me the ability to travel and have more flexibility with my own life. Transitioning from where I bought it to where I am today was definitely a lot of hard work, and there were periods of where it was uncomfortable conversations of why I'm going to be changing and just basically disrupting the way the business was and making it totally different. But I think that all the changes also allowed me to continue the growth rate and allowed me to double the business. I think if I had stayed in the old model, which worked well for my aunt and my father, I don't think I would be where I am today.